Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Talk Music with Devo. I'm your host, Devo. Talk music with Devo. On this episode, I'm going to talk about one of the biggest and most important things to me personally as a musician, and that is support. In order to make it as a musician, whether it's famous, recording, or just to make it to the next day as a musician, you need support. You need to support. Support is not just your friends coming to your shows, people liking your band on Facebook. There's a whole lot to it. It can be as much or as little as you want it to be. And I fully believe that the amount of support that you get, or lack thereof, can make or break you as a musician. Now, this is a very important topic to me. I know this is the second episode, but I'm going to kind of spill the beans a little bit, kind of open up to you guys. You know, since this is such a personal topic to me, I'm going to get a little personal with you. So, as with a lot of musicians, growing up as a musician, I didn't get a whole lot of support. Now, I'm not going to say I didn't get, a whole lot of support. I got a little bit here and there. I got a lot of it here and there. I've been told, put down the guitar, get a real job, give up the music, do what the man tells you to do. You're not going to make it as a musician. And the whole time, I told them all to shove it. Some, I would have to say it nicer than others because some were closer to me than others. Now, I played in band all throughout high school, middle school. I was very active. I didn't pay as close attention in school as I should have, but I did just good enough to stay in band. Band was the most peaceful time of day. I wouldn't say that I got bullied by any means. I was never really picked on. My little group of friends were the ones that just kind of had our little group. We liked anime, metal, Beyblades. It was just, we were definitely a weird crew. We weren't bullies, we weren't bullied. But band was where I found my peace throughout the day. I struggled in some subjects in school, and whenever I got to band, I could excel, let it loose. I had incredible band instructors. Some of them I listened to, and some of them I fought the whole way. I kind of wish I hadn't. I was too worried about the fact that, you're the new teacher. I like this teacher better. I was a teenager. Teenagers don't get along with adults. I had that support. Music being as important in my life as it is, it was good to be supported. They weren't just teachers who were doing their job. Being a teacher isn't something, it's not a job that you get and you just roll in money. It's something that you do because you love teaching what you teach, whether it's just generally teaching and molding the minds of young children or being a band instructor. You're not doing it for the money, that's for sure. When I went to band, it was a whole hour dedicated to supporting me in my music. I was fortunate enough that my parents went to every band concert that I ever played. It was good to look out in the crowd and find my mom and dad. Now, this is a different type of support. Not only do you need people patting you on the back and saying good job and pushing you to be a good musician, there's money involved. Especially nowadays, talent scouts aren't just going around like they did back in the day looking for acts. You really need that financial support. Unless you bust your butt and work for it, and unless you have some sort of financial backing, it's going to be very, very hard to make it as a musician. As I got older, I got out of school. I went to college. It was a technical school for audio technology, for recording. At the time, I thought that's something that I really wanted to do. And I got a lot of support during that. Fortunately, my parents were in a secure enough of a financial position to help me get through school. Here's another part of support that you need to do. You, as a musician, need to support yourself. You can have all these people patting you on the back and saying, oh man, you're so good. They can come to every one of your shows. They can buy every one of your albums. They can like every musical project that you're a part of on Facebook or whatever. But unless you support yourself, it's going to be a tough road. I did not play my part. I made the mistake of not supporting myself through school. I didn't put in the effort that I should have to make it. And I ended up not graduating. And I came back home. I got a job working in a restaurant where I worked before I went to school. And after that, I went into the oil field. Working in the oil field, I had no time for music. I was making more money than I could spend. I could spend some money. I could have bought so much musical equipment, but there was no time for it. I did the oil field stuff for 3-4 months, maybe, and I couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't do it. I got into such a deep, dark depression because I couldn't play music. If I'm not playing music, I don't want to do it. I have to have music. I have to play music. After that, I did some here's and there's, McDonald's, a factory, picked up whatever kind of jobs I could get, and some of them worked and some of them didn't. If you've ever worked at McDonald's or something like that, it's not hard work. If you think it's hard work, you're in for a surprise. You need to experience a job that is hard work. McDonald's worked because you got to know your schedule far enough out. I could still go home and play guitar with my buddies. Eventually, I got a job working at a factory. That was the best job I ever had at the time as a musician. It was a Monday through Friday. I got off work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I could still play my shows on the weekend, play in my band, go to the recording studio for the weekend and not have to worry about boss calling me and telling me to come to work. I made a good enough amount of money at that job. I could pitch in for band gear, could pay for gas to go to the next gig. And at that time, I was putting in the effort. Unfortunately, that band did not have the proper support outside and inside. We had a few people that were, cheering us on. My parents came to 1 or 2 of the shows in that band. Within the band, it was almost kind of split in two. We fought too much over petty things. All they did was got in the way of the band. And sure enough, as time passed, so did the band. Years later, I had a little girlfriend. Side note, as a significant other of someone who plays music, you have to realize that it's pretty much in the job description to support them. At that time, I got to focus on this little acoustic trio that I had, which became an acoustic duo. She and I played music together for a few more years after that. I kind of learned my lesson of letting the girlfriends know that I've got this acoustic project. It's a girl. We play music together and we share this thing that we're both interested in. Is that okay with you? Oh yeah, sure. No, I don't have a problem with that. A few months down the road, I'm practicing, going to shows, and it's phone calls and text messages. What's taking you so long? What are you doing? Why aren't you back yet? You're cheating on me. Musicians, if you have someone like that in your life, you don't need that. You don't need somebody who doesn't let you do your thing and who doesn't trust you to go out and play shows. Now, fast forward to a few years ago, when I first moved to where I am now, I met up with some old bros and we started a band. And let me tell you, this band, for me, has had the most support outside and in than any other musical project I've been a part of. My parents have been to every show except for 2 or 3. A lot of our friends come to our shows. We have a decent amount of fans in the area that come to our shows. It's really good to have that support. A few years after playing in that band, I got with my wife. I sat her down. I gave her the speech. The most that I ask in a relationship as far as my music stuff goes is to just give me the chance. It's one of those things where I go on my first weekend tour and you say, I don't like that. You're far away from me. You've been gone too long. You're sleeping with other girls or whatever. It's not going to work out. If you tell me that you're going to support me, then that's how it's going to be. She said yes. A few years later, and we're married. And she has been to as many shows as she could. She lets me go to band practice. She doesn't have to be at band practice every single practice. She doesn't have to text me every 10 minutes when I'm at band practice asking what I'm doing, who's there, are you still at band practice? She lets me do what I love to do. I've had relationships where they hated that I was out playing music because they weren't with me. And I've had relationships where the other person was with me the whole time. I couldn't focus. It was pretty much a buzzkill. But my wife has supported me the whole time. She knows how important this is, so she supports me. It's not a hover over your shoulder. You don't have to be there cheering them on the whole way. Sometimes stepping back and letting the musician do their thing is a way of support. I am very fortunate to have the job that I have. I make enough money. I work at home, so I have enough spare time to focus on my music stuff. I'm not working in a factory. Weekends are not required. It's kind of a just, watch your team's back. It works. All I have to do if I have a show, I just text the guys and say, hey guys, I have a show. Oh yeah, cool, man, good luck. And now I'm in a position financially where I can pitch in more than I used to be able to hire a professional photographer, pitch in for gear that we need. Now I've been focusing mainly on the outside support, the people supporting the musicians. So I've kind of walked through what you as a non-musician need to do to support your musician, whether it's a sibling or a child or a friend or a lover. I've kind of walked through what needs to be done to support a musician. Just because you're a musician doesn't mean you're exempt to support. I think you're even more obligated to show support to fellow musicians. If you have a friend that's playing in a band, if you can, go see them. Go watch their show. Buy merch, because merchandise is where it's at. Yeah, there's cover charges at shows, and yeah, you get paid for some shows, but merchandise is where it's at. So go buy merch. Go buy a t-shirt. Go buy a bracelet. Anything helps. Any kind of merchandise that you buy from your friend that's in a band helps. Like their page on Facebook. Share videos of their band. Share their songs. If you're a musician, you know how hard it is and how much work goes into recording a song. If you know someone in a band who has recorded music, buy their CD. Share it on social media. Go to their shows. Listen to their music. Share their page. Tell people about it. Support them. Another situation that I've seen, and it upsets me. I understand you got kids at home. You got to work in the morning. Certain situations, it's completely acceptable. But if you are just the type of person who goes to a show, gets on the stage, plays your set, and leaves because you've already played your set, why do I need to stay here? You're a problem. If you want to make it, if you want to see others make it, stay and support. You share the stage, even if it's just for one night. If you've never shared the stage with those people before, stay and listen, support. You might miss the band directly after you because you're loading your stuff up, but go and support as much as you can. I've seen people open a show, play their set, pack up, and leave. It's a level of professionalism, and as for me, and I'm sure other musicians are on my side on this one, it's personal. Me personally, if I open for you, I'm going to stay for everyone. I'm going to stay for the whole show. One band that I respect the most is Arsis. Arsis was the first death metal band that really got me into it. They just got me into that metal. They are some of the most respectful and respectable gentlemen that I have ever shared the stage with. At this particular show, there was one band that played, Arsis was second, and then we were last. The first band, those were our bros, and we were there to support them. We all stayed for Arsis because it was Arsis. Even after that, the guys from the first band stayed and listened to us. Arsis stayed and listened to us. They were on a tour. They had a 12-hour drive to make the next day, and this was on a weeknight, and it was already late, and Arsis stayed and listened to us. They even came and hung out with us after the show. We sat down with them and they talked to us and they gave us advice. They said, if you want to make it, you've got to do this, you've got to do this. We think that you guys are really good, but you need to work on this. They supported us. These professional touring musicians supported us. I will never forget that. That was one of the most admirable things that I've ever seen from a professional musician. I've seen some professional musicians. I've gone to some shows where the musician or the band gets up on stage, they pack up and they dip. They don't even attempt to meet people you want to support your fellow musicians and your fellow bandmates, not just your bandmates, but your bandmates. If it's up to a certain band to include you on a bill, it's the least you could do. Just hang out, man. Hang out, have a good time, meet people, visit, laugh, drink, play music, network, support. Another thing, and this is going to be the last thing that you need to do as a musician, is to recognize your fans. Thank your fans. Be mindful of them. They paid their money to come see you. They stayed through the first 2 acts to see you. Maybe you played first and they stayed to hang out with you, or they stayed to see the rest of the show. That's what it takes in a music community, and just as musicians in general, to make it. You form that bond. And I think the biggest thing that it takes to make that work is support. So if you have a friend or a family member that plays in a band or just plays music, I've been kind of focused on bands, but just music in general. I won't get too far into this one, but a lot of people can definitely relate. Music is how I express myself. It's how I escape. If I'm down in the dumps, I can listen to a song that feels like it was written just for me at that time. Music is something that it saves people. It is such a beautiful and magical thing. So I'm not saying just support your friends that are in bands. If you have a friend who's just learning how to play guitar, or if he just likes to, or she likes to play the guitar just in their bedroom or just for fun, support them. If you've got your friend who looks up to you as a musician and sends you this song and it's like, hey, what do you think? Support that friend. Don't just sit there and say, oh, it's good, and pass it on. No, this person is reaching out to you for your opinion, so give it to them. Help them build, help them grow, support them. Whether you're a touring musician or whether you just like to do it for fun, you need support, and you need to support. And I think that is the most important thing to make it as a musician. Whether it's on a professional level or a personal level, you need to be supported. And you need to support your fellow musicians as well. I'm going to wrap it up and go spend some time with my most favorite supporter. Thank you all for watching this second episode. I thank you everyone who has liked this so far and shared and just taken the time to watch my videos. I'm just one dude who's rambling to a camera, but it means so much to me from the aspect of Talk Music with Devo and as a musician that you support me. Whether you're supporting me in general or my band or whatever, thank you for your support. So like, share, comment on what you want to hear me talk about some other time. Please comment, because I'm going to run out of topics eventually. I have a few saved, but if you don't comment, I don't know what you want to hear. If you have something that you want to talk to me in particular, come on over, hit me up, and we'll do an episode together, and I'll get your opinion. Let's talk about your band. Let's promote. Let's support. So again, thank you all for taking the time to watch. Thank you for your support. Go out there and support your fellow musicians, your friends, your family members who are musicians. It's something that we all need. So thank you, and hope to see you next time on Talk Music with Devo. Talk music with Devo. Talk music with Devo.